So I took a day off from working on my mobile app to do a bunch of work on my web app. Now I built the web app about a year and a half ago, and there was a lot of work I wanted to do on it. So I did some of it. So let me go through some of the changes I made. First of all, I used my brand new logo, Brain Sorter. Now, I also got rid of that huge background image, and of course, I can continue working on the color schemes and such to make it whatever I want. So I can log in. A few different changes that I made. One is the file structure. I had everything in just one components folder, and it was pretty long and just hard to navigate where I wanted to go. So I created an assets folder for my icon and logo and anything else I want to add in the future. I still have my store with the old school way of doing Redux with the actions and reduces and such. I'm not up for refactoring all that right now. It's working, it's fine, maybe later. But I now have a features folder and everything's much more organized. I have authentication. It's structured much more like the mobile app I'm making, so it's going to be easier to navigate in that sense, going from one to the other. So resources, I have delete resource, edit resource, new resource, resource card, resource form, resource, everything that has to do with resources is in here, and same with subjects. Now, one thing I wanted to add was confirmation modals. Prior to my changes, you could just delete your account with a click of a button. But now you have this confirmation dialog. Are you sure you want to delete your account? And I'm like, oh no, whoops. And the same is true for deleting a subject. You have to confirm it, and also deleting a resource. Now, the new resource button is not above the tabs over here anymore. It's now under the resource tab. And subjects, you can do a new subject, or if you have an empty subject, you can either create a new resource or delete the subject now. So that's a nice option. And then dashboard is still just this welcome thing. What I want to do is make it as much like the mobile app as possible. I also took some time to explore the option of just using React Native for the web. My previous job, it was primarily a mobile app for iOS and Android, but we did use React Native for the web, and it basically adapts your React Native code for the web, which is pretty convenient, especially if it's not a web-first kind of app, like people aren't using your web app very often. But it can also be a pain because there's different configurations you need to do, and sometimes you need to add conditions to your code depending on what platform it is. So I did look into that and do it, but I already have a web app and it would have taken a lot more work. Maybe someday in the future, but not today. Now, there are a few things that still don't quite look right. Do I not have a key prop under subject tabs? Let's look at that right now. Wait. So subject tabs, huh? Am I using a map without setting a key? It looks like every tab has a key. So each tab has a subject key, but I'm also doing a map of the resources in the subject. Okay, so that resolved the subject tabs. Great. Now let's look at the resource list. I'm having a problem with here. Oh, I just need to do the same thing here. There we go. And I'm now error-free. What I was trying to show you before that happened was this is what it looks like on mobile right now. I mean, the sizes adjust based on the size of the screen, right? And it still doesn't look the greatest, right? Especially like this account thing. It goes down to a drop down, and then, wait, this is not even what it looks like when I do it on my phone though. And that's another thing to be aware of, is that you can use this responsive layout tool in the browser, but you always want to check it on an actual device. Maybe it's because I use Safari on my phone, but it just ends up different somehow. My plan for the web app is to make it as much like the mobile app as possible. And my plan there is to actually put this log out and delete account under the dashboard. And also, log out, this login and sign up, I think I'll also have those as buttons down here or down here, because that's my plan for the mobile app. Rather than have login and sign up as separate routes, which they are now. So here in my app routes, I have a login form and sign up form. But rather than make those separate routes, which look like separate pages, I will probably just have a modal that pops up, because I love being able to click on the background to dismiss it. Because right now, to get back to home, I have to click on the icon, which is okay, but it's not very intuitive. I think users are used to being able to click on the background. And I really like my little icon and logo. It's very nice. It was so hard to come up with. It started out very complicated, but then when I saw the icon really tiny like this, I thought, whoa, that's way too complicated and messy looking. I don't even know what I'm looking at. So I thought, okay, simpler is probably better. So I went super simple, and now it's just 2 circles with arrows. Very, very simple. Time to get back to the mobile app.